Hi there, today I'm going to show you how to build an MQL mechanism in Marketo so that we can flag and prioritize the leads that sales needs to reach out to. And while we're doing so, we're not only going to alert sales, but we're also going to provide them with context about why a lead was deemed to be marketing qualified. And this blog post here accompanies the MQL model outline section from the Marketo lead scoring blog post. So we're first going to check out this section so that we can see how we can categorize our different MQL activities for leads of different qualities. So let's dive on in to the MQL model outline section in the Marketo lead scoring blog post. So before diving into this MQL model outline section, I first want to highlight that in this blog post, I show you three different demographic and firmographic lead scoring models that you can use to assess the quality of your leads in Marketo. And then I also show a lead scoring model, which shows you how to score a lot of smaller activities and then sum the scores for all of these activities together to see if someone should be marketing qualified. So the example I give here is there are lots of small activities like visiting web pages and maybe downloading an ebook that you wouldn't MQL for immediately. However, if someone views 20 web pages and downloads an ebook, you might deem them to be sales qualified. So this model here gives you a way to aggregate all of these smaller activities together in order to see whether all of these activities combined is enough for someone to become marketing qualified. And where a person's lead quality comes into play is that for our top quality leads, they will need less points to become sales qualified versus the low quality leads who will need more points and more activities to become sales qualified. So this model I define here aggregates all those smaller activities together and then determines whether all these activities combined, along with the person's quality score, is enough for them to become sales qualified. The MQL model I'm going to outline here will combine the person's lead quality with activities that we want to MQL immediately for. And the way we do this is using the MQL activity sheet, and we categorize activities based on a priority. So critical activities should trigger an MQL no matter what the Marketo lead score is. Important activities should trigger an MQL for people whose Marketo lead score is A to C or maybe low to top match, depending on what quality scoring you use. And then normal activities should trigger an MQL for Marketo leads whose score is A to B or mid to top match. So for every activity that we have in Marketo, we're going to assign it a priority from critical to normal. And for each activity, we're going to give it an MQL source and an MQL source detail. So if someone fills out the contact sales form, we're going to MQL this person no matter what their lead quality score is. And we're going to put the marketing contact sales text in the MQL source field. And we're going to put the contact us text in the MQL source detail field. So when the sales team see an MQL come through with these values, they know that the person filled out the contact sales form in order to MQL. Or similarly, if they see these values come through on an MQL, they know the person spent more than $2,500 over their lifetime. So this is how we can prioritize our different MQL activities and provide the sales team with context about why the person became an MQL. Okay, so now let's take a look at how we can implement this MQL mechanism in Marketo by going to the Marketo MQL Mechanism post. So in here, as I mentioned, we are going to have a smart campaign corresponding to each row in this Google Sheet. So for each activity here, we're going to have a corresponding smart campaign. And you can see that I've grouped all the critical activities together. I've grouped all the important activities together. And I've grouped all the normal activities together here. So let's take a look at what one of these smart campaigns would look like. So in our sheet here, I've got a smart campaign for purchasing 10 numbers. So let's take a look here. So that's corresponding to this row in the Google Sheet. So in here, we can see that if someone purchases at least 10 numbers and they are a member of our MQL criteria smart list, so this will be unique to your company. You would define the parameters in here. Like, let's say the person must not be blocked from your online portal, they must not be disqualified, etc., etc. You define this. And then, as I mentioned before, for important activities, these should only trigger an MQL for leads whose lead score is A to C or low to top match. So here we would say the lead quality is top, mid, or low match, since this is an important activity. Or if you've got a different scoring model, you could say that the quality score tier is A, B, or C. And then once the person meets these criteria and they do this activity, then we set the MQL source and MQL source detail appropriately according to the Google Sheet. And you'll notice here that we are using a trigger token from this custom activity. And I highly recommend checking out the Marketo Custom Activities Quick Start post to learn how you can get bespoke events from your company into Marketo so that you can start MQLing on them. And then if you want to understand how this trigger token for this custom activity works, then check out the Marketo Trigger Tokens with Examples post. What this basically does is it pulls in the number of phone numbers that were purchased and it populates it here within the MQL source detail. So the salesperson would see, okay, the person has purchased 10 plus phone numbers, and then they'll see the actual number of phone numbers here, which could be 57 numbers, for example. So every single one of these campaigns is structured the exact same. We will check to make sure that if it's an important activity, that they are A, B, or C, or low to top match. If they are a critical activity, then we will check to make sure, actually, if they're a critical activity, then we don't need to check their Marketo lead score because it doesn't matter. However, if it's a normal activity, then we will check to make sure that their quality score tier is, we will check to make sure that their quality score tier is A or B, or that they are a mid to top match. So let's see what this would look like in a Marketo Smart campaign. So if we go down to the normal activities here, we can see that if someone purchases 1 to 9 phone numbers, so that corresponds to this row in the Google Sheet. If someone purchases 1 to 9 numbers, that's a normal activity. So here we check that the person is a top or mid match, or if we used a different scoring mechanism, we check to see that their quality score tier is A or B. And then, as I mentioned, if it's a critical activity, then we don't need to check their lead score. So for example, let's go check the contact sales. So here, we just need to check that they are a member of our MQL criteria smart list because their lead quality score does not matter. And then the flow of each of these campaigns is set up the exact same. We set the MQL source and source detail, and then every single campaign requests this MQL requested routing. So the critical campaign does it, the important campaign does it, and you can take my word for it, all these normal campaigns request this campaign as well. And what it is responsible for doing, once requested, is to set the person status to MQL, set the velocity date and time MQL to the system date and time token, and then sync the person to Salesforce so that your sales team can get in touch with them. And when the person syncs to Salesforce, your sales team can use the MQL source and the MQL source detail to get information on why the person became a marketing qualified lead. And that's it. That's how you can build a marketing qualification mechanism within Marketo. However, you're not done yet. As I mentioned at the bottom of this blog post, your marketing qualification mechanism is only as good as the lead quality and activity scoring models that power it. So I highly recommend checking out the Marketo lead scoring blog post and taking a look, as I mentioned before in this video, taking a look at the 3 different demographic and firmographic scoring models that I have in this post. and then choose the one that best suits your company. Or if you already have a model in your company, see can you improve it using some of the tips I give in these 3 sections. And then take a look at the lead scoring model I give here. And then combine these together, you'll be able to power a marketing qualification mechanism that best meets your company's needs and delivers the results that you are looking for. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this in the future, then please subscribe. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments on the YouTube video. Have a great day.